Everyone, this is again Tanyka, just me, and this is episode 160 of the Next Day podcast. So, in this episode, we're doing, regular 3 topic episode, and the topics that we have for this episode is the Terry Fox run breaks fundraising record, man dies on a universal roller coaster, and Canada is ending its foreign actor eligibility for 2026 Screen Awards. So let's jump in. So, our first topic, more than 1,100 Terry Fox run participants gathered in Victoria. This would have been actually, I think this would have been fairly recent ish, but like October maybe, helping to set a fundraising record for cancer research. Across the country, Canadians of all ages laced up for the 45th annual Marathon of Hope, including more than 1,000 in Victoria. Organizers like Darren Wark said they were thrilled with the support from Victoria. While numbers are still being counted, or was at that time, Wark estimates the year's run raised a record-breaking $120,000 for cancer research, which is incredible. Last year, our 2024 record total raised was $84,000, he says, adding, "Little old Victoria is changing how we fight cancer. We're raising more for research than Port Coquitlam, Terry's hometown run." The ceremony started at 9:45 a.m. at mile 0 of Beacon Hill Park, and the horn for participants to begin the 5-kilometer event sounded at 10:30 a.m. People of all ages were encouraged to join, whether by wheelchair, bicycle, rollerblades, walking, or running. The City of Victoria and the 4 regional fire departments, Victoria, Esquimalt, Saanich, and Oak Bay, really helped setting us up for success, he said. This is said by that guy I mentioned before, Wark, I believe. Adding, "We had fantastic support from local businesses and volunteers." So, in case for anyone who lives outside of Canada and doesn't know the story of Terry Fox, here's what this is. So, on April 12th, 1980, Terry Fox began his cross-country run in St. John's, Newfoundland. He was diagnosed with cancer, with the goal to run a marathon each day until arriving at mile 0 in Victoria, BC. However, cancer returned, and on September 1st, he was forced to stop in Thunder Bay, Ontario, after having run 5,373 kilometers. He died in the following year, in June of 1981. Decades later, the run continues in his name, raising funds. To date, the run has collectively raised more than $900 million to cancer research. So, yeah, I mean, I've done a Terry Fox walk or run through my high school, mine and Mikel's high school, and it is actually a very liberating feeling. And it wasn't a small thing, but it's still so good to do this and in his memory. But yeah, if no one knows who Terry Fox is, I think this is actually something I would like to talk about in the future, is talk about Terry Fox. I think he's an incredible person. Um, Someone that I think a lot of people need to look up to. I think yeah, he's an incredible person. So, he was an incredible person. So that's something I'll probably do in the future, is talk about Terry Fox. I think that's very much needed. But anyways, that's that topic. Let's go move on to the next one. So, a man became unresponsive and later died after riding a roller coaster at Universal's new Epic Universe theme park in Orlando, Florida, authorities and the company said. A Universal spokesperson cited a statement to CBS News that guest, later identified by the Orange County Sheriff's Office as 32-year-old Kevin Rodriguez Zavala, was unresponsive after riding Stardust Racers and was transported to the hospital, where the person later died. Quote, We are devastated by this tragic event and extend our sincerest sympathies to the guests' loved ones. We are fully cooperating with Orange County and the ongoing investigation. The ride is still closed, or was closed anyways at this time. Epic Universe was the first major theme park to open in Florida in more than 25 years, when it welcomed visitors just before Memorial Day weekend, and is expecting to ramp up competition with Walt Disney World Resort, a fixture in Orlando since 1971. So, thoughts and prayers are extended to him and his family. That's that's really horrible. Be interesting to know kind of like how that happened, if it's mechanical or a freak accident. But we'll keep you posted if anything comes from that. Next, and our final topic. So, the organizers of the Canadian Screen Awards, the country's Oscars and Emmys, are to end nomination eligibility for foreign talent, including American actors, starting with the 2026 edition. Quote, in order to best celebrate and honor Canadians working on Canadian productions, individuals must be a Canadian citizen or permanent resident of Canada to be eligible for a Canadian Screen Award, the Academy said, as tightened eligibility and voting rule changes unveiled come amid rising U.S. Canada diplomatic and trade tensions, making CSA's eligibility exclusively available to homegrown talent or those with residency follows a rise in Canadian nationalism countrywide after U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff and annexation threats. Honoring the best in Canadian film and TV in past years occasionally had CSA trophies going to Americans and other foreign talent, as productions with Hollywood actors or U.S. streamers investing in Canadian projects aim to drive increased international sales. During the 2025 CSAs, Kate Blanchett won for Best Lead Performance in a comedy for her role in Guy Madden's Rumors and The Apprentice, a Canadian Ireland Denmark co-production, and a Donald Trump origin drama, which we've actually talked about here, earned the Best Film Prize. Also, the Best Performance in a Lead Role trophy went to Sebastian Stan for his portrayal of Trump, while the Best Supporting Actor win was awarded to Jeremy Strong for his performance as Roy Crone. As Canadian talent and content increasingly figures on the world stage, other Canadian Academy rule changes include introducing 4 new spotlight categories to honor Canadian directors, writers, performers, and producers who work on international TV series made and broadcast in Canada. And while Trump's threat ahead of Keynes to impose a 100% tariff on films made outside of the US, including Canada, has faded with no concrete policy action, the turbulence of the US president's global trade war is still felt by a Canadian entertainment industry dependent for jobs and investment on Hollywood production hubs in Toronto and Vancouver. The CSAs will also launch a Creator of the Year prize to honor a Canadian digital creator whose original work was found significant online reach on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, Twitch, and other digital and social media platforms. ACTRA, the country's actors union, welcomed the rule changes to make eligibility exclusively available to Canadian citizens or permanent residents north of the border. At a time when Canada's cultural sovereignty is under pressure, the Canadian Screen Awards are uniquely positioned to celebrate Canadian excellence, with Canadian performers rightfully at the center. This decision is a vital investment in Canada's cultural future, the Actors Union said in a statement. But Alan Ungar, the Canadian director of London Calling, an action comedy starring Josh Duhamel and Jeremy Ray Taylor, and premiering this weekend, or whatever weekend this was, theaters, argued the rule changes while supporting the Academy's mandate to promote local talent threatens to limit the sale and promotional reach of homegrown movies in international markets. which is a problem. I do agree with that. It's a little disappointing, especially as we're making Canadian films by Canadians, and often we have to feature American actors to get them financed and sold worldwide. This is what Unger told The Hollywood Reporter, and that's basically that. So, although I agree with the idea of having this happen, and I understand it, I can also understand the other side of it where, yes, there are gonna be movies that, yes, could be made by Canadians, and it is a Canadian project. But yes, maybe it needs to include American actors or isn't being shot on Canadian soil. So it's maybe extreme, but I guess we'll see kind of how that goes. I'm sure if it doesn't go good, they can maybe make some adjustments or go back to how it's currently. So I guess we'll see on that. But but yeah, that's basically it for this episode. That's it for me. So this ends episode 160 of the Next Take podcast. Next Take podcast can be found on our website at nexttakepodcast.podpage.io. And you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Next Take Podcast, and Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky, Next Take Pod. You can also email us at mikeltanyka@gmail.com. That is mikeltanyka@gmail.com. So, yes, so this was our 3-topic episode, our last one of the year, by the way. Just remember that. So in this episode, we talked about the Terry Fox run, breaking fundraising record. We talked about the man who died on the Universal roller coaster. And we also talked about Canada ending its foreign actor eligibility for 2026 Canadian Screen Awards. But yeah, this was a quicker episode, but that is it for this episode. So we'll be back on Thursday for our final episode of the year and our final episode of our Christmas series for this year. So we'll see you then. Mikel should be in this episode. I'm pretty sure he'll be on the part of the episode. So he'll at least be ending the year off with everybody. But that's it for now, guys. We'll see you on Thursday. Bye.